If you're over 60, eating the wrong red meat can damage your heart, raise your risk of stroke, and silently speed up cognitive decline. You've been poisoned by your own dinner and you didn't even know it. Comment meat if you've eaten red meat in the past week. Number 1. Processed meats, bacon, sausages, and deli cuts. Let's start with something that's probably in your fridge right now: bacon for breakfast, sausage with eggs, a sandwich with ham or bologna. These are classics. But if you're over 60, these familiar foods might be doing more harm than you think. Processed meats are loaded with preservatives, like nitrates and nitrites, and excessive sodium. These are not just flavor boosters, they're chemical additives used to preserve color and shelf life. But for your body, especially an aging body, they can quietly raise your blood pressure, stress your kidneys, and damage your blood vessels over time. For seniors with existing heart conditions or high blood pressure, the high sodium and saturated fats in processed meats can accelerate plaque buildup in the arteries and trigger dangerous spikes in blood pressure. And if you're dealing with kidney issues, the high sodium can worsen fluid retention, making it harder for your kidneys to filter waste properly. I read from the American Institute for Cancer Research that processed meats are directly linked to colorectal cancer. That's not a small risk. It's been classified as a Group 1 carcinogen, the same level as smoking. If you're trying to protect your senior health, it's best to keep these meats as rare treats, not weekly habits. Choose fresh, lean proteins instead. And always read the label. If it sounds like a science project, leave it on the shelf. If you thought deli meats were the only danger, think again. Fatty steaks like ribeye can be just as risky. Stay with me, the next one might surprise you even more. Number 2. Ribeye steak. Looks delicious, hides dangerous fat. Now here's one that many people think is high quality: ribeye steak. It's juicy, tender, full of flavor. But for older adults, that marbling fat running through every slice, that's exactly where the problem lies. Ribeye is one of the fattiest cuts of beef. All that visible fat is mostly saturated fat, the kind that can raise your cholesterol and make your blood thicker, slower, and harder to pump. Over time, that makes your heart work harder than it needs to. For seniors already living with heart disease or recovering from a stroke, this type of meat can quietly increase risk. It promotes inflammation inside the arteries, tightens blood flow, and can even lead to shortness of breath or chest tightness after meals. According to the American Heart Association, seniors should limit saturated fat to less than 6% of daily calories. Ribeye can easily blow past that limit in just one meal, especially when paired with butter or gravy. If steak is part of your routine, go for a leaner cut like sirloin or top round. And when you cook, trim any visible fat and choose lower temperature methods like baking or broiling. It's a small shift that can make a big difference for your senior health. Ever thought that a nice ribeye could be hurting your heart? Just type 2 if that one hit home. Number 3. Fatty lamb, a heavy hit to the heart. Let's talk about something that sounds a little more exotic but shows up often on holiday tables: lamb. Now, not all lamb is bad, but the fatty cuts like lamb shoulder or rib chops are a whole different story, especially for seniors. These cuts are loaded with saturated fat and cholesterol, and unlike beef, lamb fat tends to be more concentrated and harder to trim off. Once it's cooked, most of that fat stays in the meat or seeps into the sauce and straight into your arteries. If you already live with metabolic issues like high cholesterol, pre-diabetes, or belly weight gain, this kind of meat can fuel inflammation throughout the body. That inflammation doesn't just make joints ache or make you tired. It silently increases your risk of heart attacks and strokes by damaging blood vessels from the inside out. I read from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health that diets high in saturated animal fats are closely linked to chronic inflammation and cardiovascular disease. For people over 60, whose bodies already respond slower to damage, This makes recovery harder and risks higher. Want a better option? Choose leaner lamb cuts, like leg roast or loin chops, and trim off all visible fat before cooking. Better yet, swap lamb for lean game meats like venison once in a while. It's one more simple way to protect your senior health without giving up flavor. Lamb might sound traditional, even elegant, but if that caught you off guard, pork belly takes it a step further. Let's take a closer look before it hits your plate. Number 4. Pork belly, a hidden danger in every bite. You might see it on the grill at a backyard barbecue or served crispy at a diner. Pork belly is rich, flavorful, and melts in your mouth. But here is the issue. That soft texture? It is mostly fat. Pork belly is one of the highest fat red meats you can eat. And we are not just talking about calories. It is packed with saturated fat and cholesterol that can quietly raise your low-density lipoprotein cholesterol levels and make your blood vessels stiffer over time. For older adults dealing with obesity, high blood pressure, or early-stage kidney problems, pork belly adds even more strain. It promotes fat buildup around internal organs, drives blood pressure up, and increases the workload on your kidneys, all of which are already more fragile with age. I read from the National Institute on Aging that older adults process fat more slowly, and diets high in saturated fat can directly increase cardiovascular risk and metabolic syndrome in this group. For people over 60, that could mean a higher chance of stroke, fluid retention, and loss of muscle control. So what is the move? If you enjoy pork, go for leaner options like tenderloin or center-cut chops. And when possible, steam or roast instead of frying. That way you can still enjoy the flavor without sacrificing your senior health. And look, if pork belly makes you pause a little, you are not alone. Truth is, a lot of the meats we grew up enjoying, bacon at breakfast, a juicy ribeye, that rich lamb roast, they all seem harmless until you take a closer look at what they do inside an aging body. The saturated fat, the sodium, the hidden preservatives, they build up quietly. And if you are already living with heart issues, diabetes, or kidney concerns, those small choices can become big problems fast. So it is not about cutting everything out. It is about getting smarter with what you eat. Stick with me, because up next, we are flipping the script. I will show you 4 red meats that actually support your heart, muscles, and strength over 60. If this has been helpful so far, give the video a like, share it with someone you care about, and make sure to subscribe to Healthcase so you never miss a senior health tip. Let's keep going. If pork belly has been part of your go-to meals and now you are second-guessing it, type 4 so we can talk about it. Number 5. Sirloin steak, a lean cut that works for you. Let me tell you about a steak that gets it right. If you still enjoy red meat but want something gentler on your heart, sirloin steak is one of the best choices out there. It's lean, packed with protein, and lower in saturated fat than most other cuts. For older adults, sirloin gives you the muscle support you need without flooding your system with harmful fat. It's rich in iron and zinc, 2 nutrients that help fight fatigue, support your immune system, and keep your red blood cells strong. This is especially important if you're dealing with age, anemia, or low energy levels, which can be common in seniors. Research from the National Institutes of Health and other studies indicates that older adults often require more protein than the standard recommended dietary allowance to maintain muscle mass and prevent sarcopenia. A 3 to 4 ounce portion of lean sirloin helps close that gap, providing high-quality protein without overloading your heart or kidneys with excess saturated fat or sodium. Here is a simple way to enjoy it. Trim off any visible fat, grill or roast it gently, and pair it with steamed greens or whole grains. It's satisfying, nutrient-rich, and fits beautifully into a senior health plan. If sirloin feels like a smart swap already, you will love what tenderloin brings to the table, especially if chewing or digestion has become harder lately. Keep watching. Number 6. Beef tenderloin, gentle on the body, rich in nutrients. Here is one you might already love: but didn't realize just how good it is for you. Beef tenderloin. It's soft, easy to chew, and surprisingly low in fat compared to other cuts. That makes it a great fit for older adults, especially if you have dental issues or a sensitive stomach. Beef tenderloin is packed with high-quality protein, essential for maintaining muscle mass and strength, which is crucial as we age. It's also loaded with B vitamins like B12 and niacin, which support nerve health, red blood cell formation, and energy metabolism. It also provides iron, which helps prevent fatigue, and zinc, which boosts your immune system. All these nutrients are essential as your body ages and becomes more vulnerable to deficiencies and illness. Research indicates that older adults often absorb less vitamin B12 from food with age, particularly if they have conditions like atrophic gastritis or take acid-reducing medications. This can lead to a deficiency that may cause memory problems, numbness, and even balance issues. Including tenderloin in your diet just once or twice a week can help maintain steady levels without overloading your system with excessive fat or sodium. When cooking, skip the heavy sauces. Roast or bake it with a little olive oil and herbs, and serve with fiber-rich vegetables. You'll get the flavor you love and the support your senior health depends on. Tenderloin fans out there? If that's your favorite healthy steak, give me a 6 in the comments. Number 7. Venison, the forgotten super meat for aging bodies. Let's switch things up a bit. Venison, that is deer meat, might not be something you eat often, but for older adults, it is one of the smartest red meat choices you can make. Venison is naturally lean, which means it has significantly less total fat and saturated fat than many cuts of beef or lamb. At the same time, it is loaded with high-quality protein, iron, and B vitamins like B12, niacin, and B6 that help keep your muscles strong, your energy up, and your mind sharp. These are key for staying active and independent as you get older. Research indicates that wild game meats like venison can have a more favorable omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid ratio compared to conventionally raised red meat. This can be beneficial for managing inflammation and supporting heart health, which is great news if you are managing high cholesterol or looking to support cognitive function. And, because venison is not factory farmed, it typically contains no added preservatives, sodium, or hormones, just clean, nutrient-rich meat. If you are new to cooking it, try venison in a stew or chili. Cook it slow to keep it tender, as its leanness can make it prone to drying out if overcooked. With the right prep, it is not just healthy, it is downright satisfying, and it is one more simple way to support your senior health without sacrificing flavor. Venison gives you clean strength, but if you are looking for something more familiar yet just as powerful, bison might be your next favorite. Let me show you why. Number 8. Bison, the heart-friendly red meat you should know about. Here is one more option that often flies under the radar, but it should not. Bison is a powerful red meat choice for older adults who want to protect their heart and keep their strength up. Compared to beef, bison is naturally leaner, with less saturated fat and fewer calories per serving. Yet it is just as rich in high-quality protein, iron, and vitamin B12, all critical for maintaining muscle mass, fighting off fatigue, and supporting brain health as you age. The American Heart Association indeed recommends choosing leaner protein sources to help manage cholesterol levels and reduce the risk of heart disease. Bison, with its lower saturated fat content, aligns well with these dietary guidelines. This is especially important if you already deal with hypertension or a history of cardiac issues. What makes bison even better is how versatile it is. You can use it just like ground beef, in burgers, meatballs, or stir-fries, but get all the benefits without the heaviness or grease. Just remember to cook it gently, since it is lower in fat and dries out faster than fattier cuts of beef. If you are looking for a red meat that works with your body, not against it, bison is one of the best senior health tips I can give. The bison's not on every menu, but would you give it a try, now that you know its benefits? Drop 8 if it's a yes. So if Bison sounds like a solid choice, it really is. But here is the thing, it's not the only one. There are a few red meats that actually work for your body, not against it. Cuts like sirloin and tenderloin give you the protein you need without all the heavy fat. Venison adds clean fuel without the additives, and bison brings strength without stressing your heart. For older adults, choosing these smarter meats can make mealtime both safer and more satisfying. It's not about giving things up, it's about giving your body what helps it thrive. And speaking of giving your body what it needs, there's one more thing that matters just as much as what you eat: how much you eat. It's something a lot of folks over 60 overlook, not because they mean to, but because portion sizes have quietly crept up over the years. You sit down with a juicy steak that fills the plate and it feels normal. But here's the truth. For your body at this age, that's just too much. As we age, our metabolism slows down, our kidneys work harder, and our ability to process fat and protein changes. What felt fine at 40 can now lead to fatigue, bloating, or worse, elevated blood pressure, weight gain, or cholesterol spikes that push existing conditions into dangerous territory. So here's an easy fix. Use your hand as your guide. If the piece of meat is larger or thicker than the palm of your hand, it's probably more than your body needs. A good serving is about 3 to 4 ounces, roughly the size of a deck of cards or the palm of your hand without your fingers. It might not look like much at first, but when you pair that lean meat with fiber-rich veggies, whole grains, and healthy fats, it becomes a balanced, powerful meal, one that supports energy, mobility, and long-term senior health without overwhelming your system. So no, you don't have to give up steak night. Just shrink the size, skip the extra sauces, and let your food work with your body instead of against it. That one small shift? It might be the difference between just surviving and truly thriving.